Let's talk about the Russell Wilson charity disturbing detail story that's sort of sweeping NFL headlines right now. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, usually talking about signing, cutting, trading players, all that good offseason stuff, right? Well, today we got a different story and a different show outlined because Russell Wilson's charity got poked into a little bit by USA Today. They were just looking into previous NFL Walter Payton Man of the Year award winners, and what they uncovered about Russ's charity was disturbing. So we're going to run through some of those details. Really quickly, though, we did cross 12,000 subscribers thanks to yesterday's show, in which I promised doing 12 shots for 12,000 subs. We're going to do it tomorrow. I just didn't feel it was really appropriate to take 12 shots on a show where we're talking about Russell Wilson's charity not being maybe so honest and faithful about giving money to pediatric cancer research. So didn't feel like that was really a good combination. But I saw this originally yesterday, and it came from Denver Sports, where they tweeted out an investigation by USA Today found that Russell Wilson's foundation reported it spent just 24.3 cents of every dollar on charitable activities in 2020 and 2021 combined. Yikes. Now, first thing first, I'm not an expert on charities. I don't work for the IRS, so I don't have necessarily the greatest prior knowledge on the inner workings of working for a nonprofit or working for a charity, because you do have expenses, you do have salaries to pay, but it shouldn't amount to the point where only 24 cents is going to charitable acts and donations. That does not feel like a very effective charity, if you ask me. I give you $1. I understand maybe 100% of that dollar might not go to whatever charity you run, but for 75% of it not to go, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Now, some more background here before we look at some quotes and whatnot. Russ's charity, which is Why Not You Foundation, helps pediatric cancer research and starvation, among some other things for youths in America. It was founded in 2014, and it has raised over $13 billion since then. So USA Today, they were just looking into previous NFL Walter Payton Award winners, because that award is coming up today, I believe. Yep. And when they were poking around looking into Russell Wilson's foundation, they uncovered some interesting things. We're going to run through some quotes. Let's start with this one coming in from Jake Shapiro at Denver Sports. Still, the investigation by USA Today found that Wilson's organization reported it spent just 24.3 cents of every dollar on charitable activities in 2020 and 2021 combined, and nearly twice as much, 1.1 million, on salaries and employee benefits in that span, according to federal tax records. So, what we're looking at here is Russell Wilson's charity is spending a lot of money on some salaries for its employees instead of spending it where the money should go, on pediatric cancer research. I'm not saying the entire charity or foundation is a complete, scam and sham and whatever, but it's definitely not being honest with those who donate their hard-earned money to this foundation with good causes and intent behind it, only to find out that over half of it, which, by the way, again, not a charity expert, but a good percentage of money that should go to charitable acts is around 90%. An overhead cost of 10% to pay employees to keep the charity running, that I understand, and that's expected, okay? No one works for a charity or has a charity completely built of people who don't receive some sort of salary for the most part. Maybe some do. Again, not a charity expert here. Charity guy, not a charity expert. So with that being said, we are going to look at some more quotes and whatnot that are pretty damning, if I'm being honest with you. But first, today's show is sponsored by Athletic Greens. So I take AG1 by Athletic Greens literally every day because you can get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition when you go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I recently gave AG1 a try because I hated taking pills and vitamins and wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. I take AG1 in the morning and it makes me feel ready to take on my day. It also really helps with starting my day on the right foot and getting into a healthier lifestyle. I start the day with making one great choice, which is AG1, and more healthy decisions then follow. Also, covering my nutritional bases for the day really couldn't be easier, which is why I trust Athletic Greens. All I do is just mix one small scoop of AG1 with water. I drink it first thing in the morning, and it's done. I also like that it costs less than $3 a day. It's a really effective daily habit with the highest quality sourced ingredients, so a win-win if you ask me. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Just go to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I've got that link for everyone in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's get back on track, though, starting with this, straight from the horse's mouth, USA Today. Form 990 federal tax returns from the nonprofit's inception through 2021 show it reported $7.5 million in revenue and $7 million in expenses during its first 8 years of existence. Less than half of the money, $2.8 million, or 39.6 cents of every dollar spent, has gone to charitable activities, all as grants to other nonprofits. The remaining $4.2 million has paid for fundraising, administrative, and management expenses, including the salaries of 3 employees who have received $1.9 million combined. So this charity is giving out multiple 6-figure salaries instead of helping those in need? What is going on here? I mean, I'm not going to stand here and pretend like that's how charities run. Not a charity expert, but I can tell you, you probably don't want to be giving your money to a charity where they are spending most of it on employees' salaries. And these salaries, which add up to close to 6 figures, some going over 6 figures, I hope these employees then are working 9 to 5 days like everyone else who makes that much money, and also is then being able to bring in much more revenue if they're going to cost that much as employees. More to look at here from Jake Shapiro. In 2020, the year in which Wilson was given Man of the Year award, his foundation reported $838,000 in revenue and $1.2 million in expenses, including $257,000 on charitable activities and $548,000 on salaries and employee benefits, meaning about twice as much money went to executives in the foundation compared to charity, and only 21 cents of every dollar earned went to charity. So this is not something that is just necessarily new. We saw initially, through the first 7 years of it, a lot of money was going to salaries. But since 2020, we're seeing almost double the amount of money that goes to charities, going to charitable acts and activities and donations. Instead, double that is going to salaries for employees at this charity, at this foundation. Are these employees, are these workers bringing in 5 times the revenue because they cost 6 figures to work there? Probably not. Probably why this foundation is under a lot of scrutiny right now, okay? Now, the Seattle Times, of course, still keeping tabs on Russ. They had an interesting write-up in which we will share a little bit of it now. USA Today further reported that in 2020, 3 of its employees were paid $441,000 combined, and quoted Andrew Morton, a nonprofit oversight attorney, as saying that if the foundation is challenged, there is high probability the IRS could conclude the salaries constitute excess benefit transactions and levy substantial penalties. So in layman's terms, Russ is putting 3 of his buddies on payroll and funneling them money that way. But there's no real explanation. There is not a real reason why people working for this foundation need to be making this much money. I really, really doubt it's a full-time job where they are going into an office or working from home 5 days a week and only having 10 days of PTO like your standard company. No, my guess is they don't work 5 days a week. They probably don't put in 8 to 9 hour days. Instead, they go to some of the charitable acts. They help organize fundraisers from time to time. They go with Russell Wilson to the hospital. All that stuff is great. I'm not taking away from it. But you don't need to pay 3 people that much money to do it. It's just Russ kind of a little bit of a kickback to some of his buddies, taking some of the money that people are donating with good intentions, only to see a quarter of it actually end up where they really wanted to go. Now, I'm not going to read this entire response, but the Why Not You Foundation did publish a response to USA Today's investigation, in which they really don't acknowledge anything USA Today said. It's just a really long write-up about how awesome they are as a foundation. And they sure do some great things, okay? It's awesome to see Russell Wilson go to the hospital, go to the children's hospital, and take pictures with the kids, because that is really uplifting to them. But it's a shame that people are donating money to this, and he's only putting 24% of that into these charitable acts over the last couple of years. That defeats the purpose of working for a nonprofit. You don't go into nonprofits to make a lot of money. Hence the word non in front of profit. Unbelievable. So, quick sidebar here. Maybe the Broncos, somewhere in Russell Wilson's contract, said, hey, if your charity sucks, we get to tear up your contract? Probably not. But that would be a nice out clause after the way he played last year. Let's be honest. Just calling it how it is. But let's see him bounce back next year with Sean Payton. But you're telling me if there was a way to get out of this contract without having all that dead cap hit, you wouldn't take it right now? Yeah, you're lying to yourself. So to wrap up the show, I want to do something nice. And that is make a donation to a charity of your choice. So shout out your favorite charity. In addition to tomorrow's show with the 12 shots, I'll also show real proof to a charity that doesn't spend, 24 cents on the dollar to charitable acts, but instead something like the American Red Cross that spends upwards of 90% compared to 24% for Russell Wilson on charitable acts. So shout out your favorite charity. Doesn't matter what it is. Let me know in the comment section. I'll pick one somewhat at random, one I think is a great cause and for a good time right now, and I'll make a donation to it.